Welcome back to QP Only Iron Man. Last episode we started the sheep herder quest to be able to do an incredible amount of things all throughout Kandarin by herding the sheep to whatever place we wanted. This episode we'll be looking at all the other things I did during the quest aside from the herding content. And trust me, there's enough to train around these sheep, even if they're standing around their spawn locations. For example, after buying some cheap food at the marketplace, I did some pickpocketing of master farmers to get a bunch of levels up to level 50 for Rogue's Den, mostly to be able to access the shop there, and also to get a whole bunch of seeds, even a torstal and a few snapegrass seeds. Aside from that though, after finishing my Slayer task last episode, I got another Slayer task from Turiel, despite Vanaka showing his face there, which turned out to be Kalphites. Because I had no way to ever kill them during any quest, I would be using my Slayer exception and simply use Rings of Recall to kill all of them. I also used sacks of potatoes as some of my most efficient obtainable health per inventory slot. So I geared up in my best armor with my chaps replacing my iron legs and went down to the Kalphite Lair. There I would hit the Kalphite once with auto retaliate off and wait for it to kill itself on my recoils. It took a while, but by taking off my armor it went a little bit faster. After the first trip of using up my potatoes, which consisted of just 2 kills, I realized I would need a whole lot more rings of recoil, so I went to Ardoin to craft a few of them, completed a surprise exam for a hunter level, and then herded a sheep all the way to the RD furnace. I tried to get the sheep stuck inside the furnace, but after it ran away, it got stuck somewhere close enough that I could still make my recoils in the furnace. After making 52 rings and enchanting them in the bank, I joined the monastery to get my holy symbol blessed for more prayer bonus and then went back to the Slayer task to recoil down more Kalphites. My prayer bonus would help to keep rapid heal on to recover some health while waiting for the Kalphites to die. During this long task I got a random event that's usually absolutely useless, but in this case the sandwich lady was useful for a few extra hit points to recover while doing this task. Because this task was so long for me, I had enough time to look up if a nicer username was available, and after it turned out there was, I changed my name to no longer have "by the way" in it, so from now on my videos will show my current RuneScape name. Anyway, after that I killed all the required Kalphites of the Slayer task using 1 hit of damage and the rest of the damage from recoils and healing myself up with potatoes. My second to last kill got me another Slayer level, and then I finished off with the final kill, which you can see here sped up 20 times. After it finally killed itself, I went to get another task and got assigned Ice Fiends. I would be doing that during the Dwarf Cannon quest, so for now I would go back to Ardy. On the way there I got an exam random, which I cashed in near the sheep for a hunter level. After that I decided to do some fletching training now that I've got some woodlands available to me. I started off at the Oak, where I got incredibly lucky with a back-to-back exam random, and that got me another hunter level. I trained up my fletching to 35, at which point I went to train my firemaking at another oak with some more space to build a line of fires. It was really nice to train some quick skills here for easy total levels, so I decided to grind out a whole bunch of levels now. After getting some levels there, I moved on to firemaking at Willows to get a bunch more levels. I trained there up to level 49 firemaking for bullseye lanterns, all while hopping by the farming patches every now and then to get some XP, and then I moved on to do some more fletching at a couple of other willows, selling my bows to Risolo for a bit of cash. After training there for a while, I got a random Spinach Roll which is going to be quite interesting. Just check what time my report abuse button says right now, 1 hour and 5 minutes, and then I'll remind you about it in a second. But first I did an easy clue scroll which I got from a bird's nest, which gave me some absolute garbage loot, and then I got back to chopping willows. Big surprise, the Spinach Roll was still there. Weird, right? My thought is that it somehow didn't ever despawn because I didn't drop it myself, but it was dropped there because my inventory was full. No idea if this is the real mechanic though. After another
2 hours later.
It did despawn though, or perhaps someone picked it up. No way to be sure. Anyway, I then professionally missed my level up for 49 and 50 fletching and for my total level 800, and then moved on to do some thieving for seeds. There I got yet another XP random for more hunter XP and got my thieving up to 51. I decided to train a bit more until I would be able to plant watermelons for a scarecrow. To make that a bit easier, I bought some garden pies and then I got distracted at the moss giants for a second, where I got a mithril spear which is useful for some future quests. After getting a farming level, I then planted some nasturtiums to prepare for planting watermelons, and while waiting I killed some RD guards to try getting some medium clues. The first kill was a jackpot already, and I got a clue where I could do the first step and the second one, but then I got a miscellaneous step which I was not going to wait for. So because of that I got back to my nasturtiums, and with a boost I planted my watermelons. To prepare my scarecrows I then killed some goblins to get a few bronze spears, which were pretty quick to get, along with an easy clue. And from that I got an imp mask, which was my first unique item. I then got a defense level along with another bronze spear, and then got myself some hay sacks. While still waiting for my watermelons, I went back to the RD guards, where I got another medium clue. This one was interesting though, requiring me to kill an Ardoin monk. So I did some quick maths and tried to figure out which routes from north to south through RD there are. One route was all the way to the west RD wall, one was straight through the RD zoo, and another one was just a sliver of space to the southeast of the RD zoo. With my herding experience from previous episode, I decided that the straightest route would probably be the best route to take. So I got going. Luckily I already reached level 50 herding in previous episode, so herding the sheep all the way to the monastery went pretty well. The sheep was a bit stubborn at times, but each time it was, I was still able to salvage some progress by poking or blocking the sheep fast enough. After herding the sheep all the way through RD, one of the hardest parts was getting it across the bridge in just the right way. When I got the sheep near the monks, I quickly killed one before the blue towel-to-be sort of wandered off, probably to get high. I used my key to get going again with the clue steps, first opening the chest in Varrock Chapel, then talking to Hajjadi in Brimhaven, and then getting back to Varrock, talking to Low. From him I got a Ganefist step, which I would save for later, since I had already completed 3 steps so far. Getting back to Ardy, I harvested my melons and created a scarecrow, which would finally make it possible to plant disease-free sweet corn, and of course allow me some sweet raking content of the flower patch. With the accomplishment of harvesting my first sweet corn out of the way, I decided it was finally time to complete the sheep herder quest. 2 videos had gone by, which translates to 8 days in real life, so I was ready to move on to the next quest. I said goodbye to my sheepies, which was a bit of a sentimental moment for me after being around them for over a week, and then I poisoned them all to death and incinerated their remains. But wait, there's more! Before actually completing the quest, I did one short final crafting grind in the RD furnace so that I would at least have enough banked recoils and to get level 50 crafting out of the way, which meant I could make a ruby amulet for combat training in the future. And after stringing that amulet, I did finally finish off the quest, which without doubt made me the top ranking herder in the high scores. Too bad this guy doesn't also sell the skill cape, because I feel like I almost deserve one. And with that, I'm going to finish this episode. Next episode we'll start seeing some agility training to finally get access to the Rogue's Den general store for higher resale value. So be sure to stick around. I hope to have the next episode released quicker than this one was, so if you want to stay up to date, please consider pressing the subscribe button. I hope to see you next episode. See ya!